Hello friends, welcome to Shorthand Academy. In this video, we are going to write a dictation based on defense matter for CRPF ASI Stenographer exam 2023. Basically, there is no certainty of the kind of matter likely to come in this exam. Still, based on the feedbacks of the candidates who had appeared in the previous exam, I have compiled some matter for this exam. Be ready. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. To start, the governments of the US and India are under tremendous diplomatic pressure after Washington accused New Delhi of orchestrating a plot to murder US based Khalistan movement leader Gurpatwant Singh Pannan, designated by the Indian government as a terrorist. Pannan is a lawyer in New York who in 2007 founded Six for Justice, an organization that is banned in India as it advocates for a separate homeland land for Sikhs Khalistan that would be carved out of the state of Punjab and some neighboring areas. The plot was foiled by the US FBI. Last week, the Department of Justice charged Indian national and drug smuggler Nikhil Gupta of plotting to kill Pannan, who is not directly named in the indictment at the behest of an Indian official. The US is taking the case very seriously and has in recent months pressed the Indian government to investigate the matter on its end. India has set up a high level committee to look into the case. Indian External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar has stated more than once that if India was provided with specific information, it would act on it, adding that it is not the Indian government's policy to undertake actions such as this. Pannan's saga is unfolding against the backdrop of a similar case, which is unsurprisingly mentioned in the FBI investigation. Canadian based Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was also on India's terrorism list, was murdered in June this year by unknown assailants. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau alleged in September that Nijjar's murder had potential links to the Indian government. Trudeau believed that the allegations were credible and chose to make his sensational accusation on the floor of the Canadian Parliament in September, which led to an unprecedented diplomatic spat between the two countries. New Delhi called the allegations absurd. It also accused Canada of failing to take action against citizens who support the Khalistan movement, which advocates for separatism in India's Punjab, a very sensitive state bordering Pakistan that has been seen a spate of terrorist violence since the 1980s. This is in spite of the fact that these activists have openly advocated for terrorist violence against India and physically threatened Indian diplomats in Canada as well as senior Indian leaders including Prime Minister Narendra Modi. India felt that Canada, including its diplomats in India, were interfering in its internal affairs and forced 41 Canadian diplomats to leave the country. Notably, the US and Canada have worked closely on the Niger case. The evidence to support Trudeau's allegations, even though it was never shared publicly, was collected with the help of Ottawa's partners in the Five Eyes intelligence group, which also includes the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. All of these countries have expressed their concern and sought India's cooperation on the Niger case. The White House and the US State Department have asked India publicly to cooperate with the Canadian authorities in their investigation and hold those allegedly responsible in India accountable. Commenting in September on whether Canada's case could potentially affect US India relations, US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stated bluntly that no country had any special exemption in such matters. It has now transpired that Washington was well aware of the elements developing in the Pannan murder plot case back in September when allegations against New Delhi over Niger's case were made public. This explains why US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said at the time that the US was not only cooperating but coordinating with Canada on the Niger case. There is a difference, however, in New Delhi's reaction to accusations made by Canada and the US. While Ottawa has to date provided no specific information to India on Niger's case that could be perused on its end, the US has apparently provided specific information on the Pannan case so that India can investigate on its end. This has been stated by India's foreign minister, this time in the Indian parliament. According to an Indian spokesperson, the information that the US has shared involves organized violence, drug smuggling, and terrorism, all of which pose a threat to the security of both countries. Both the White House spokesperson and Blinken have welcomed the Indian response to US allegations with regards to Pannan's case. There is a clear desire on both sides to contain that the fallout of this case, which explains the White House statement that while they take the Pannan case very seriously, it will not have an impact on the India US strategic partnership, which the US will continue to work to improve and strengthen. This is borne out by the fact that the India US 2 plus 2 dialogue between the foreign and defense ministers of the two countries was held on schedule. The Deputy National Security Advisor of the US has just visited India to discuss bilateral ties, particularly the cooperation in crucial technologies, even as the Panan case was raised. So friends, this was the dictation. Part 2 of this dictation will come in the next video. For more videos, stay connected with my channel Shorthand Academy.